What if I told you there was a conspiracy? Could you tell me like all the gimmick accounts that you own or like help run? A conspiracy happening all around you right now.
Well, obviously, I run troll incidents. True, I guess. That's at 330K. Weird Spotify playlist. That's almost at 500. Weird T-shirts. Kids are stupid. Weird brands. That's at 40 or something. I run this new one. It's called Starter Packs. That's at like 18 too. So like all in all, probably closer to 1 million.
Everyone knows about it.
Right now, I have 2 accounts that I own. The first one's, of course, literally 1984, and the other one is nothing out of context.
But no one knows just how far this rabbit hole really goes.
This is the OnlyFans person.
It's time for you to wake up. Imagine this. You're on Twitter, scrolling through your feed and you see a funny tweet. Then you look at the name of the account and it pertains to the topic of the tweet you just liked. You've just found your first gimmick account. What's a gimmick account, you may ask? Well, most people on Twitter define a gimmick account as an account made specifically to tweet things for one topic, mainly for comedic purposes. However, gimmick accounts come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Today, I want to take you down the rabbit hole of comedy gimmick accounts I found myself in recently and see how deep this thing goes. But first, did you know only a small portion of those who will watch this video are subscribed? You should definitely like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what the first gimmick account you've seen on Twitter was. I can start my story out with this whole rabbit hole I found myself in around a month or 2 ago. I'll admit it, I'm not that big of a fan of gimmick accounts. I find them lazy forms of comedy and just repetitive in nature. The majority of the content on them is stolen or stuff that's been around and I've seen before, so I don't really follow that many. However, they are popular and have a place in modern day Twitter to give those who are inclined to follow them the respective content they put out. Where things get weird is with checking out the accounts a little deeper. On a glance, these accounts are just harmless fun, putting out funny tweets for a few likes, but diving a little deeper, we find complex webs of multi-account networks owned by single individuals, account purchasing and selling, and the worst of all, promo selling to those with dubious intentions. All things we will go over later in this video. I took it upon myself to do a little more research into just how deep this all goes and talk to the owners of some of the biggest gimmick accounts on Twitter I can get a hold of for comment. Starting off my journey, I have a question for you all. Have you ever seen a gimmick account that puts out a tweet that gets over 50,000 likes, and you go to check out the account and you see it only has 1 or 2 other posts, with the account being created less than a month ago? Well, there's a good chance that account either paid or is owned by yet another gimmick account. You see, owning a gimmick account for some on Twitter is a business, with promos from accounts winning exposure for their products to others wanting to get retweeted. If you're savvy enough, you can make some good money on Twitter. Something common I've seen, especially in the last 3 months, is that new gimmick accounts have popped up getting retweeted by bigger established accounts, causing the tweet to blow up and for them to gain massive amounts of followers almost instantly. Because if you follow one, you might as well follow another. Honestly, it's a genius plan, and people don't think of it as promo, they just see it as another funny tweet. Now, I don't have a problem with this business per se, as long as it's another gimmick account, seeing as this is all a gray area for the platform and they aren't doing anything against TOS, but where it gets a lot darker is where these accounts start to retweet stuff like this. Now, this may seem like an innocuous tweet, something funny you may like, maybe even go to check the replies, but wait a minute, what the fuck? You see, this is where I have to get a little bit more serious with the video. Before getting into this rabbit hole I found myself in, I seldom looked into gimmick accounts, and even if I did, I would just scroll through their media and find the post images to snicker at for a bit. Of course, I've seen the occasional post where someone goes viral and they sell themselves out for a dildo sponsor, but this goes another level, and this isn't just an isolated case. When asking my subscribers in one of my polls if they follow gimmick accounts, some replied no because all the OnlyFans promos. The fact that this is a problem is such a huge red flag for me, as I see the main people who consume these kind of pages are underage. There is nothing stopping you from clicking on this tweet and scrolling for a second to see not safe for work content in the replies. When looking for more examples of this, I found that the tweet I had screenshotted was no longer there, but another had taken its place. Yet another stolen meme with 15,000 likes. Going into the comments, you see people replying to the retweet from multiple different gimmick accounts, all to the same post. We're interviewing one of the account owners that did promo. He showed me the way in which he communicates with these people that do promos for these OnlyFans girls. There are networks made in which managers reach out to account owners, for promos and designate which tweets will be retweeted so they maximize the amount of people who will follow. I think the worst part about this that I haven't talked about yet, and you may have realized, is that most Gimmick account owners aren't even 18 yet. How old are you?
15.
Okay. Okay. So I've noticed you and Max run a bunch of accounts. So is it?
Yeah, we run a bunch.
So is it because like you're not 18, so he runs them for you?
No, I think he's under 18 too, but I don't know what you mean by that. Like he runs them too.
I'm just wondering. At least the ones I've talked to are all under 18 years old. It's to be expected that people most attuned to the audience they're trying to connect with are the same age as them. And for some of them to be okay or even able to promote OnlyFans account, it's honestly disgusting to me. It's a shame that this is allowed on the platform to begin with. I know there aren't many things that can be done without rewriting the rules of Twitter's terms of service, but something must be done about this. At this point, it's a feedback cycle as well. Accounts that have established followings will continue to make more accounts for gimmicks and get them followings, which in turn brings them even more followers to create more. And promos will continue to be had, not only just with retweets, but with likes as well. I really didn't plan for this video to get so serious. When I initially started, it was only to talk about how it was interesting that many accounts were owned by 1 or 2 owners. I noticed that multiple accounts would promote the same Discord in either their bio or tweets on their pages, but as I dive deeper into it, it's impossible for me to not talk about how wrong it is to use their platform in a way that can expose people to pornographic material. Here's yet another example of the same account getting retweeted with a relatable tweet, only to be retweeted by 3 large Gimmick accounts and people replying to them in the comments. Looking back on the interview I did with It's Peter, he said something I found interesting. The owner of the account, Horny Popo, also owns Gen Z Moments. This makes sense to me as these 2 accounts seem to be the most blatant 2 that retweet promos. It's Peter also had this to say.
I sold it for like $3,000, so. I know most of these, I sold my account to this guy, I'm pretty sure, if this is the person I'm thinking of, who owns this account. He owns Horny Popo, I'm pretty sure you've heard of that one before. He owns that, and he owns this one, and he owns another one, but, yeah, and he makes a lot of these people who you see retweet a lot of OnlyFans stuff, like they make a lot of money. Like,
it's clear whoever runs these accounts is in it to get as much money as possible from running these accounts. $3,000 is no small amount of money. If they're willing to put $3,000 in, it's only fair to assume they're expecting to make profit off the account as well. It's honestly just shocking how deep this goes, and for no one to really document this in a real way other than the few who have noticed this trend and unfollowed. It seems I'm the first to really put some of this real research into this. I don't really know how to end this video. As I said going into this, I thought it would be a fun little video going into Gimmick accounts, and maybe I'd make some sort of graph linking all the big ones together, but it's so much worse than I thought. Accounts being made only weeks prior with upwards of 250,000 followers, promos and follower manipulation to follow porn accounts. It's all too much to process for me, man. Hopefully Twitter gets a hold of this because it only gets worse from here. But in the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you make of all this.
I'm a sharpshooter.